Up to sanity testing.
Up to sanity testing, right? Different levels or different types of testing that we covered, right? So we understood that what is regression testing, what is a retesting, right? What is mean by smoke testing, what is mean by sanity testing, right? Everything gets covered. Now let's try to understand in the what is a software testing life cycle. Okay, you know that SDLC. What is SDLC? Software development life cycle. Correct. Now we are trying to understand that is STLC. STLC, that is a software testing life cycle thing. Okay, so let me just share and then tell this, see, this is what the software testing life cycle team. Now, if you check it out, it's a requirement study. Now, what is mean by the requirement study team? Requirement study is nothing but there is a specification doc, okay, or any documentation, right? The functional specification doc or requirement specification doc. We can call this as a FRS. FRS stands for functional requirement specification doc, right? It's a specification doc basically, right? So we have to understand the requirement and we can go through the application. Now let's take an example, say for example, let me just go to this application, Orange HRM application. It's a sample application team that we are going to use it for testing activity. Okay, so this is what open source, the Orange HRM demo, right? This is what I'm trying to share with you again, right? That you can go through this application and then try to understand it. So this is what application study. That is the first phase of your testing lifecycle. Okay. So you people have to go through this application. So username is admin and the password is admin123. So let's go here. It is the admin and admin123. Let's get login. Sometimes you may not be get into the login team. Don't worry about it. Wait for a few minutes and definitely you will get into this application. And you people have to explore this application. What are the different functionalities are there, right? What exactly this Orange HRM is all about. Understand this. And then finally, we should get in the logout. So this is your application study. That is the first phase. Everyone is clear,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. This is the first step. Now the second step is that is design or writing test cases. Okay, so that is what the test plan is prepared. So we are going to discuss this test plan and all right now. Okay, so that is the design phase. We are going to write it down the test cases. We are going to use an Excel sheet. I will show you that what is meant by the test case, then what is the test plan and all, right? So we are going to start this in the writing test cases and all might be in the tomorrow or day after tomorrow onwards. We are going to start with that. Okay, once you in the over with this the test cases and all, then we should move to the review part. Review in terms of yes, you have written the test cases. I want to verify it. I want to check, right? Whatever the test cases you have written, I want to verify, or the your team member is going to verify. Correct, whether you have written all the test cases or not. So that is what the review part is getting done. And he will give the review comments. And based on the review comments, you should rework on it. Say he said that you made a typo. Okay, he mentioned that you didn't cover all the test cases. So your people are going to rework on that test cases, right? So that is what the rework comes into the picture. Now the next is test execution. So what is meant by the test execution? Right. So once you write the test cases, we should compare expected with actual result. And this is called as unit test execution. Okay, so you are going to compare it expected with actual result. If both are matching, then we can say that it is a pass case. Otherwise, it is a fail case. When it is a fail case, then we are going to report a bug and we follow the entire defect life cycle. Okay, all of you are getting my point, right? When you get it done with the test execution, right? You are going to execute it and you are going to compare it with the expected with actual result. Yes, team. Then you will get the result, whether it is pass or a fail. Okay, right. And that once you get this, you the if that the particular test case is fail, then you are going to report it bug. Okay, and that the bug's life cycle gets followed. That is a defect life cycle. And finally, we will prepare a test report. So how many test cases are passed? How many test cases are failed? How many test cases are pending? Okay, so this is everything, the status about this in the entire test execution. Okay, team. So this is all about SDLC life cycle. Everyone is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, once explain design right test case.
Design test cases is nothing but we are writing the validation part, right? Boundary value analysis you have learned, right? Statement coverage you have learned. So we are going to write it down the test cases and that we will see tomorrow practically. Don't worry about it. I will tell you that. Okay, what
Okay.
is mean by the how to write down the test cases, how to execute the test cases, and how to follow the defect life cycle that we will do practical. So this is little bit about the theoretical part that we want to understand it. What is SDLC is all about. Clear?
Yeah, sir. Okay.
Okay, so if anybody asks you what is SDLC, then you should be able to in the answer this question. Fine. Now let's move to the little bit ahead with the test management. Okay, now test management. What is meant by this test management, right? So basically, let's try to understand in the test plan. See, you know, before going to start any activity, okay, like you want to plan for dinner. Okay, so first you are going to plan it for the dinner. Okay, where we should go, right? And how much we can contribute, whether we have to go with the veg or the non-veg, something, and how to go. See how many things you are going to plan it when you decided to go for a dinner. Yes or no, team? All of you are agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And remember, very important. Remember this example, right? Okay. So this is what the test plan. Test plan means before going to start any testing activity, we should prepare one document. Okay, we should prepare one document. That is what the planning should be there. And then only we can start the testing activity. So what is a test plan and what is a test cases? Okay, this is a very short definition. Like IEEE 829 standard, we are going to discuss about the test plan and the test cases. Now, what is the test plan? Test plan, nothing but it is a document which contains what to test, how to test, when to test, and by whom to test. Very simple definition. You won't get it anywhere. 101% sure. You won't get it this definition thing. So what is a test plan? Test plan is nothing but it is a document, right? It contains what to test, how to test, when to test, and by whom to test. Correct. So let's move to this in the test planning. Let's understand this test planning. So test cases, we will cover it by tomorrow, right? So we have a 2 days. Within 2 days, we will cover this test cases, defect life cycle, and whatever the topics which is remaining. So definitely we will cover it, all these topics. Okay. So let's understand this in the test plan. Perfect. So now if you check it out, what is this test planning? It is a process of defining a testing project, right? Such that it can be properly, underline the word properly measured and controlled, right? So you should plan it first and then you can start the activity. Okay. So it includes your test plan, test strategy document, test requirement, and the testing resources. So let's start. So this is all about you in the test planning. Now let's move to the next is test design. So what is mean by the test design? Okay, so it is a process of defining the test procedures means nothing but the steps. Okay, test design. Try to understand what is mean by the test design. Okay, test planning is over, test design. So the test design is nothing but it is a process of defining the test procedure. Now the question is, what is mean by the test procedure? Test procedures are nothing but the test steps. Okay, to execute that test cases. Say for example, to validate the login window, you want to validate it, you want to check the login window. So what are the steps you are going to do, team? Yes, if I tell you, right, can you please check this, whether it is working properly or not, this login page, right? Orange HRM login page. You want to check it or you want to test it. I can say that the test now. So how you are going to test it? What are the steps are there? You can tell me the simple steps. How you are going to test it, team? First
Username
you, yeah, tell me, sorry.
will give a valid username and password.
First you are going to launch the browser. Okay, what are the steps? I asked, what are the steps are there? So you are going to launch the browser. You are going to launch the URL. Then you are trying to enter a valid username. You are trying to enter valid password. You are trying to click on the login button. So these are the steps are nothing but the procedure. Finish. These are nothing but the procedures. Okay. Then the test cases that verify the test requirement are met. Okay, this is what it is called as a test designing. So that also I will explain you what is mean by the test design practically. Remember. Now the test development. What is mean by the test development, right? Okay. Now it is again a process of creating a test procedures and the test cases that verify the test requirement. We can use an automation tool, right, to verify this, the test cases, right? So that is the Selenium we are trying to use it. Then the JMeter for the performance testing tool and REST API using a Postman, right? So these are the different tools are there for the different, the types of testing. Fine. And the manually we can test that. We can develop this in the test development. Now the next is test basis. What is mean by the test basis? Okay. On which basis you are telling this? We generally ask, right? Hey, you are blaming me, right? On which basis you are telling me that, exactly. So that is what the basis, underline the term basis. Basis are nothing but the source. From which sources you are going to write it down all the test cases. So there is a something called as a requirement based test cases. There is a something called as a functional design. There is a something called as an internal based test cases, right? Means white box testing methods, white box testing, statement coverage, branch decision coverage, right? Okay. So this is what the test basis means based on the functional specification document, or we can call as a spec. Spec is nothing but the specification document. Any, the functional requirement specification doc, requirements functional specification doc, n number of any, right? So this is what the test basis. Now what is a test? Test is nothing but to verify. You have to execute, you have to check whether that the expected result is getting match with the actual result, right? You should observe the result, right? And that is only a test. I'm talking about the test means you are going to write it down the expected result, not actual result. Okay? When you execute it, then you are going to write it down the actual result. And that is called as a test execution. It's not there. No, fine. So this is what the test execution team, when we compare with the expected and actual result. I will explain you everything in the practically. Okay, this is about the test case. What are the components are there? Now, see, understand this. Characteristics of a good test. Note it down, right? Characteristics. An excellent test cases satisfy the following criteria. First, it has a reasonable probability of catching an error, right? You have written the test cases which is not able to catch an error. What is the use of that test case? Right? So it has a reasonable probability of catching an error. So you should write it down strong test cases that we can find out more bugs or errors. It is not redundant. What is mean by the redundant? Unnecessary. Okay, unwanted. This is called as a redundant test case. Say for example, right? I'm trying to check for, say if I click on the cancel button, that the window should get cancelled. Okay, that is only one test case which is required for this, the cancel button. But how I'm going to write it down the test cases for the cancel button? See, the cancel button is clickable. That is a one test case. Okay, when I click on the cancel button, that the window should get cancelled. That is the second test case. I'm going to check that whether this, the enabled or disabled. Cancel button is enabled or disabled. That is the third test case. Okay, now how many test cases I am writing for the cancel button which is not required? It is called as a redundant. Everyone is clear about that redundant state in the term? Yes, team?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it is the best for its breed. That you can understand that, right? And it is a neither too simple nor too complex. Okay, when you write it down the test cases, it should not be very simple or it should not be very complex, right? Okay, and that how we are going to write down the test cases that we will see practically tomorrow. We are going to write it down into an Excel sheet, right? So this is all about then the test execution. Yes, the test execution is nothing but it is a process of running a set of test procedures. Again, target software build of the application under test. Now there is a something called as you people have to understand AUT. AUT stands for application under test. Note it down. AUT stands for application under test. Now this, this orange HRM itself, this is what, the orange HRM, this is what application under test or system under test. Okay. This is what application under test, system under test. We compare expected with actual result. We are going to write it down the result, whether it is pass or a fail. This is called as test execution. We can go with the automation, also regression testing and all. Fine. This is all about the test execution. Then the evaluation is nothing but we can check whether the result is pass or a fail, right? Yeah. This is all about the test management. Everyone is clear about that? Any questions, any queries, any doubts? Please be open and, just let me know. No questions, no queries, team?
Sir.
Okay, team. Now let's move ahead with, yeah, 1 minute. Now see, as a tester team, try to understand your responsibility, okay, team? Right? As a tester, there is a one question. Okay, you people all are testers, remember? Now, if I ask question key, how many testers does it take to change a light bulb? Now, what is this? This is a little bit confusing. So let me just tell you that as a tester, you people are into the dark room. There is no light at all. Okay, see, you people are into a dark room, right? There is no light at all. As a tester, what you are going to do? This is what the question is. Are you going to change the bulb? This is what it's saying that how many testers does it take to change a light bulb? What you people are going to do as a tester? Yeah, tell me fast, quickly.
First checking the power is there.
Okay, done. Next.
Checking filament.
Okay, second, done. Next.
Whether the switch is on or off.
Okay, switch is on or off. Perfectly right. Next. Fast, quick,
Any
go ahead.
connection in the wires.
Sorry.
Disconnection in the wires. Checking.
Okay, right. Next. Anybody is going to try to open that? Okay, you are going to check the power. Okay. Anybody is going to open that door or window if it is there? Are you going to look at that first one? You are going to check whether there are windows are there. I want to open that first window and then I can try to light that bulb. Anyone? I'm just telling you, okay. You people can tell me your in the view. It's done. Okay. So now understand this, your responsibility basically as a tester, what you are going to do is, the answer is none. As a tester, you are going to just notice that the room was dark. Finish. Tester don't fix the problems. They just find them. Everybody has understood now. Understand your responsibility as a tester. What you are going to do it. You are going to find out, you are going to notice it out that the room is dark. Finish. You are not going to fix that problem. You are not going to change the bulb. You are not going to check the current is passing or not. You are not going to switch on this, the button, power button, right? You just find out that, okay, you are going to notice it that the room is dark. Finish. And as a tester, you are not going to fix the problem. Yes or no? It is correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everybody has understood. Remember, okay, keep in mind. It will help you in your future. Okay, just keep in mind. Don't tell anybody that you should fix that. Don't tell anybody to the developers that, okay, you are wrong. No, just you should report it and keep in silent mode. Finish. And this is what the tester's role is. Okay. I think you people learn something, the lessons learned kind of a thing. Yeah. Okay. Now, what to do when you find a defect? What you do when you find out the defect?
Report it.
Okay. You're going to report a bug. Perfect. Then, so the point of writing the problem reports is to get bug fix. Okay. Now, what is a defect? And this we have already seen that. Now, let's try to understand that is the defect report. Okay, and then we will stop it. Okay, so let's try to understand what is a defect report. Okay, right, when you when you submit that bug, then what other fields are there? Different fields are there, right? We are going to prepare all these columns in an Excel sheet and we are going to submit this with the defect. Let's try to understand these fields one by one. Okay, or the step by step. And it's very easy, team. I'm going to ask you by tomorrow. Okay, try to understand this. Right. So the first is it's a summary. Before that, it's the defect ID. First is defect ID. Let me just check it out. It's a defect lifecycle, defect report. Let me just check it out. The defect report points. Defect lifecycle, it is also called as, okay. It's not that, but yes. If you check it out, there is something called as a defect ID team, which is uniquely identify that defect. Okay, defect ID is nothing but it is a uniquely identify that defect. Every document should have the ID. If you go with the test plan, it has a test plan ID. If I go with the test cases, it has a test case ID. Okay, everywhere ID is there. So this document, which is a defect report, it also has the ID. So the first is report. We can call this as a defect ID first. That should be a unique ID. Basically, it should be a unique ID. Then the summary. Summary is nothing but it is a short description of the, the defect. Let me just show you quickly. Okay, 1 minute. Test cases. Yeah. Let me just show you this. Okay, team. This is what the defect report is all about. This is a defect ID. Defect ID is nothing but this is a unique ID. We are going to report it in the Excel sheet. And then after that, we are going to follow that Jira tool. Okay, test management tool or the project management tool. Okay, so this is what the defect ID. Then reported date, that when we are going to report it, the status is new, means when you submit it, that is a newly defect. So obviously the status is new. We are going to discuss that different types of the status. Okay, while we are learning this in the defect management lifecycle, then you will come to know what is meant by the status. I will repeat it again. Don't worry. Then the summary. Summary is nothing but it is a short description. Now see, I have written these test cases for a login window that we are going to do it practically tomorrow onwards. If you check it out, this particular line, this statement, this entire line, this is fail. Assume that this particular test cases fail. This is how we can write it down. These are called as a test cases. Okay, so this particular test cases fail and there is a bug ID. And this bug ID gets into the reference of this bug ID, defect ID. Okay, and the summary, user field accepted less than 4 alpha character. Okay, that is a short and sober summary that developer can easily understand that. Then there is something called as the steps of the procedure. How to get this, the particular defect. So I have to enter the username, then I have to enter a valid password and then click on OK button. So I'm going to enter username with the less than 4 characters, alpha characters. So if you want to add a test data in the defect report also, that would be also fine. In the test cases, we have added a test data. See, this is what the sample data. I added username, it's Neil, N-I-L, 3 characters, not 4 characters. So this is what, enter this, the steps are there. Now, what is priority and the severity? Two things are there, right? So let's go and check it out. So the detailed description. Okay, summary is nothing but that is a short description. Then the date of reported. Detailed descriptions are nothing but the steps. Okay, assigned to is nothing but to the developer's name. Note it down, team. Okay, note it down. Summary is a short description about the defect. Date of reported that Detailed description is nothing but the steps. Right? I want to in the re-execute or reopen this the defect. Then I have to go with the steps. So what are the steps that I have to follow? I should follow and then I will get this in the particular defect. So detailed description. Then assigned to whom? That is the developers. Then the severity is nothing but that the impact of that defect. Okay, whether the application is getting crash. Okay, so the severity is nothing but the impact. Severity is nothing but it's an impact on the application, that the defects. Okay, then the which version you are using. Okay, which version you are using. So that is the version name. Then the priority. Priority means how soon you are going to fix the defect. How soon? That is what the priority. Developers are going to fix the defect, right? So how soon they are going to fix that defect, and that is what it is called as a priority. And we are going to see that what is severity and the priority later on. Then the system information is nothing but the hardware system. Okay, you should tell that. But configuration of that system, that the Core i7, right? 10th generation, 1 TB, then 16 GB RAM, right? So you should tell the system information. Then the status, when you report this bug, the status is new. Okay, the status is new. Then it is assigned to the developers. Developers are going to open that bug. Open. So the status goes to the open state. Status goes to the open. Whether it is a reproducible. Now the question is, what does mean by reproducible? Right? Now you people found the bug. I am a developer. I also get this, the bug in my system. Try to understand that. What is mean by the reproducibility? See, you have executed and you found that bug, you reported that bug. Let me also check it as a developer that whether it is a reproducible bug. So I'm going to write it down whether yes or no. And that is what it is called as a reproducible. Detected by your name. That is a tester's name. Detected by tester's name. Whether you want to add some kind of a screenshot, snapshot, then you can say that attachment. Okay. So now if you check it out, see the priority is high, severity is medium, assigned to Mr. Sunil. So he is a developer. Then whether it is a reproducible, yes, modified date if anything is there, and the snapshot is attached, and whether it is a remark. Remark is nothing but anything you want to suggest. Correct. So this is not a mandatory field. This is also not a mandatory field. But now if you check it out, all these are mandatories. Right. So this is all about the defect reporting. This is all about the defect report. So these are the fields that comes under the defect report, like summary, short description about the defect, date of reported, detailed description is nothing but the steps assigned to the developer. Severity is nothing but how severe or the impact is getting when you find the bug, whether it is serious. Okay. Then the version, priority is nothing but tell me.
How soon they are going to fix the problem?
Perfectly right. So how soon? How soon you are going to fix this, the defect? System information, hardware information, right? The status is new. Okay, when you submitted newly, then it's a new. Okay, status is new. Reproducible is nothing but on your system that the product, that the defect is getting open or it's reproducible. And I want to check it on my system whether it is getting reproducible or not. So I'm going to check. Yeah, you said that it is reproducible. Yes. So I'm going to re-verify. I'm going to check it on my system whether it is reproducible. So I'm going to change the status. If it is not reproducible, then I'm going to change the status to the new. Sorry, no. Okay, here it is Y. See, here it is Y and you assign to me. Say, for example, you assign to me, assign to say Nilesh. Okay, right. And it's detected by whom? That is a the tester's name detected by. If you want to add in the one more column that is in the assigned to. Okay, here I can add one more column. Say for example, detected by whom? Okay, detected by say Venkat. So Venkat has reported this bug, which is assigned to me. And he said that it is reproducible. I'm going to verify. I'm going to check whether it is really reproducible or whether it is a bug, yes or no. So if I'm not able to find this bug, then I can say that it is no, it's not reproducible. And I change the status to close. It's very interesting. It's very interesting actually. So when we start practically, definitely you will enjoy this in the particular thing. So let me just make it out as it is. Fine. Okay, so this is all about defect. Sorry, that is a defect report basically. Defect lifecycle. It's a defect report fields. Everything is clear. Any questions? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow, you people are going to revise it everything. Even you are going to focus on DBMS and SQL queries. I send that in the online compiler. Try with data manipulation language, TDL language, what is commit, right? Everything. Then what are the primary keys are there, constraints are there, where to use where clause, everything. Everybody has understood? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm done. Thank you so much for your patience, right? You listen me a lot, right? And hope that today you enjoy a lot, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Very good. So just do the practice, nothing else. If you do the practice, then definitely you will, get it. And it's very easy. Software testing is very easy, basically. But when you go with automation testing tools, yeah, it is a little bit difficult. Means the getting into the script and all, right? So don't worry about it. Fine, then I think we should stop over here. So bye bye, and then see you tomorrow, team. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome team.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, bye.